Carolina's the one that we kind of saw this coming, right? Like we knew that they caught lightning in a bottle last year in the NCAA tournament, and they have guys that can score. But the problem is they're not passing the ball to anybody. They think they can do it all themselves. And the weird part about this whole situation is kind of the exact same thing as last year. We're seeing the real Carolina now. Like I'm not. They like I said, caught lightning in a bottle. Brady Manick was really good, if nothing else, because he was a ball mover. He didn't just make shots. As soon as he caught it, he either got rid of it or made something happen without the basketball. There's nobody on that team that does that right now. Pete Nance is so frustrated right now. He's trying to take it one-on-one. Like that's where this Carolina team is. Are they going to figure it out? I would guess they do, but I mean, that's 3 in a row, right? Like I just functionally, like that team just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But for that matter, guys, they didn't last year. That's the thing that kind of scares me the most. Like, are they going to limp into the NCAA tournament as a 6, 7, 8 seed? And that's what it kind of looks like if they're able to get it together enough in the conference. So that's a team that scares me. Carolina, they are who they are. They have some guys that can turn a game on its head individually. It's just there was a point 24 and a half minutes into the game against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. They had 2 assists.
Yep.
Guys, it might as well have been 2 passes. Like they just don't pass the ball to each other. They don't trust each other. And then on a team where Hubert Davis needs to gather his and gain some depth, like the guys on the floor don't trust that depth. So like you have a 2-edged sword right there. There's a lot going on. Gonzaga not necessarily worried about just because
let's stay on North Carolina real quick because Fant, I want to toss this to you for a second. All right. So here's what North Carolina has done in those last 4 losses. They lost by 5 to an Iowa State team that ranks top 40 on KenPom and that I think is probably going to end up being an NCAA tournament team. Might be a 10 seed, might be an 11 seed, but I think they're going to dance. They lost by 2 on a neutral court in 4 overtimes to an Alabama team that's top 15 on KenPom right now. They lost at Indiana by 12. Indiana's top 10. I don't think there's any shame in losing on the road to a program like Indiana in the building as loud and as crazy as Assembly Hall is right now for a game that's that big. And they lost by 8 on the road at Virginia Tech. They cut a 16-point deficit to 3 in the second half, and they did not have Armando Bacot in that game. So I think it's fair to say the sky isn't completely falling. Like it's not like they're losing to Gardner Webb. It's not like they got upset by James Madison. These are good teams that they're losing to, but it's not clicking. And it's basically the same thing that they were in March last year, but instead of Caleb Love dropping 27.5, he has 6 turnovers and 1 assist in a game. Right. So is this just a result of they're doing the stuff that they were doing last year? They're just not doing it very well. Or is there more of a structural flaw within this team without like a Brady Manick, as T.O. said?
Well, I think that there are 2 pieces to this situation with North Carolina. Number one is the mental piece of reaching the national championship game last year. And within these games, I'm watching their body language out of timeouts. And the body language that I sense is, we got this. We got this. Like we got it. No, you don't. You don't. You haven't defended a lick. You've been soft on the defensive end of the floor. You let Indiana, you gave up 77 points to Indiana. They hit 3 threes in the game. They went 3 for 13 from 3. They're a bad 3-point shooting team, Indiana. And you let them get in the lane. And I've been watching Carolina's body language on these timeouts and after games. And apparently Hubert Davis out in Portland was very optimistic, was actually happy with the Alabama game. I'm not sure if that's a front by him, but the fact of the matter is this. If they were not a blue blood or their name was not Carolina, we wouldn't be talking much about them right now because of the fact that they have not been able. At some point, you got to beat somebody. Now, the other piece of it is that they are a disconnected team, but they're an all or nothing style. So I do think that there are similarities with last year in that regard, because when you have guards who are so up and down and it's as explosive as they can be, is as bad as it can turn for them. Guard play, point guard play, hit the button. For it to be successful, you've got to be able to make things happen with the basketball for others around you. And this team is not playing together. They're not playing connected. But also the loss of Manic is not just a significant loss, but the fact is that Carolina at times only has 3 major offensive threats on the floor. Their other complementary pieces aren't great offensive players. They're just not. So they are who they are in that regard. They're not a deep team, guys. At least I don't think that they are. And maybe he needs to figure out a way to develop that a little bit. But the fact is, you can't welcome back the players that they welcome back and go on a 4-game skid like they've gone on here. So I think that they could correct some problems? Yes. Do I think they're as bad as people are saying they are? I don't think that, but I don't think you can catch lightning in a bottle twice in the NCAA tournament. This sport is too unforgiving for that to be the case again. I could see this being a year, guys, and we'll talk about this way down the road, where Carolina wins their first NCAA tournament game come March. And everybody and their mother goes, here we go. It's another Carolina run, only for them to run into someone in the second round and be like, not this time. That's the NCAA tournament. Because at some point, guys, like the lack of assists, the lack of defensive ability, there's things there that to me, I don't think that the body language of we'll figure this out, we've got this. That's not how college basketball works. And frankly,
you mentioned, I want to make a point on that. You mentioned body language. Like, do these guys like each other? Is this just kind of, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it always looks like Caleb Love is grumpy, doesn't it?
That's
just him.
That's just him. And I don't see that with some of the other guys, but like there needs to be some sort of sense of urgency. Like we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Well, you're 5-4. Like, and you're North Carolina. Like, North Carolina should beat Iowa State. North Carolina should at least have it close in Blacksburg. Like, Blacksburg's a tough place, but like you should have it close. Indiana, you go there, it should be. It was not, to me, like that game was never really in question because the effort's just not there. Like they're not even close. Like against Alabama,
that's the big thing. It was the effort to me. Like it's not. To me, it's not just that like they're shooting too much. They're not passing the ball. Like there's different things every game, right? Like they didn't expect Iowa State playing a 1-3-1 zone, and Iowa State plays a lot of that one. They throw junk defenses at you. That's a problem. Hubert said they never played that before in the post game press conference.
That's his issue.
Which is just not true.
Hubert, like that's it.
Against, we've seen defensive issues that they've had this season, right? We saw an effort issue against Indiana. So there's like 19 different things that are going. It's not like one problem where you say, yeah, you know what, Caleb Love, he just hasn't been shooting the ball well. That's the issue, right? Or they're just not getting stops. There's like 17 different problems with this North Carolina team.
Am I crazy for? Do you guys recognize that though? Like, if you look at their facial expressions, I don't know if they like each other or not, but like I do get the sense that in their minds, and I'm sure this is what they're thinking right now in their facility. We made our run last year when everybody counted us out. That's where we're at our best. Like I'm sorry, the run they went on.
There's a North Carolina.
They're taking early. That's what it is. Fantasy. They're taking. You know what it is?
It's Carolina arrogance. It's Carolina arrogance is what you're talking about.
But I sense that. I sense that a little bit. I sense that we're going to get this right. But the fact is, not just that's what I sense. I mean, just watching them. I watched them last week at Indiana, and Baycott with like 5 minutes left to go in the game is like talking with somebody on the team, and they're sort of laughing in the free throw line. It's like, you are down by 6 right now. You still have a chance in this game. Let's go. Like, where's that urgency? And not just the Iowa State defense. How about the fact, like, have you never seen Trace Jackson Davis get an entry pass inside? You know what's going to happen in single man coverage? He's going to finish. He's going to hit. They let TJD get easy catches late in that game. They let Xavier Johnson get into the lane. Their defense on dribble penetration right now is not good. And that to me is a lack of effort and urgency, because guys, do they have enough talent? They got enough. Yeah. They got enough to beat Virginia Tech and Iowa State. Their defense, it's a sub 50 defense in KenPom, and there's a reason for it. They're not defending.
Mm-hmm. When effort is into question, whose fault is that?
To me, that's the players.
No, hell no.
You shouldn't need a coach.
No.
You shouldn't need a coach to teach you to,
dude. No,
you did not need a coach to push you hard.
No, there's no defense of the. It's not the players. It's not the players. It's the coaching staff. If effort is your issue, it's the coaching staff. 1,000%. It's not even close. Not even up for debate. What is acceptable in terms of effort is an issue. It is the coaching staff. Okay, it is not the players.
That's fair. So what you're basically saying, if guys aren't trying hard
you
enough,
yank them in early. Dude, you're 5-4. You're not lighting the world on fire. You're 5-4. You better play somebody who plays hard at least. Like right now is lesson taking time. You're in the non-con. You're Carolina. You're going to get the benefit of the doubt with the NCAA tournament. You need to teach some lessons to these guys who don't really feel like playing all that damn hard. All this stuff. Damn pissing them off. Make them play hard at least, and the rest of the shit will handle itself.
I don't think you can.
They have to play hard.
No, I got you, but I think it's very difficult to blame Hubert Davis for saying, "Well, we don't have."
Very easy to blame Hubert Davis for them not playing hard.
We don't have a bench, but also the only guys that we have that are good are dogging it. Like it's a tough spot to be in.
What are you talking about? They don't have a bench. Okay, so what are you talking about? We don't have a bench. DeMarco Dunn was a top 100 kid. Seth Trimble was a top 100 kid. Dontrez Styles a top 100 kid. Tyler Nickel, top 100 kid. Yeah. Puff Johnson, he's not that level of guy. I'll give you that. But the rest of them, those are top 100 kids. Those are Carolina worthy. If nothing else, they're ACC worthy and able to play hard. Whose fault is it that they're not playing hard? Hubert Davis's. It is his fault. Like
I love that T.O.'s gotten on here and has already slandered them for their Carolina arrogance, and now he just tried to fire Hubert Davis right here on the spot. That's
I've been saying for a long time that I've been hesitant about Hubert because I think it's too easy going. There's some point you got to stick a foot in somebody's ass and get them to play hard. You're 5-4, like you've lost 4 in a row. Something good's got to happen. Like enough is enough. Like it's crazy. They play Georgia Tech next. If that Georgia Tech game is close, there's real problems. There's real problems.
Georgia Tech is bad.